Today's topic is about InfoQ. So let me refresh my system. Actually, I deleted it. So whenever you delete something and if it's still available, don't fear. Okay, have you done any mistake or something? Just refresh your system, because we do have the refresh button over here in the RSA1, but maybe it not refresh as we expect usually. So yeah, now it has gone. Okay, so this was the example of the what is called master data with attributes. So what's the table name where the data is getting stored with respect to attributes?
The PSA table you are talking about?
No, the final table, the target table where the data is getting stored. What was the table name starting with? What is the naming format?
It's with /BIC/P.
P, yes, very good. Okay, so this was the table which was reflecting to the where the master the attributes data is getting stored. Okay, and with respect to text, what's the table name?
/T.
T followed by the info object name. Okay, so this is the
Right.
normal naming convention wherever you go. So SAP follows the same naming convention: demo system, training system, real-time system, 7.3 system, 7.0 system, 3.5 system, whatever it may be. The same naming convention is followed over there. Okay. Now today's topic is about InfoQ. Very interesting topic and very important topic. Without InfoQ, there is no SAP BI.
Okay.
Okay, very important topic. Okay, so what is this? So usually, what type of data are we loading till yesterday? The master data, which means basing on that data, we are going to make the transactions. So which customer has purchased which product, on what date, what is the quantity has purchased, what is the revenue that has been generated with this transaction. So this kind of day-to-day transaction data we are going to load into this place. So when I was referring to my customer master, sold to, which means also called as customer, right? So here the customer data is a master data. Material details. So here also the master data. So here using these data, what I would be using them as a what's called already existing data. So this is how the business also works in the real time. Already this data is getting stored. For example, I want to create a sales order. Then I want to enter the customer number. So I am not going to create then and there onwards. Already the customer details are available in the SAP EC system. Already the material details are available in the SAP EC system. Basing on that, these things, I would be creating a sales document number and fill in the other details and create the sales document number. Here also, so these customer details are already available in my system. These material numbers are always available in my system. So whenever they are scanning the product, it will be reading data from this T table. Whenever they are scanning the customer details, it is referring to the P table. What is advantage? We will be getting to know in tomorrow's class. So why I need to load the master data before loading the transaction data is we will be understanding in tomorrow's class. So we will be loading the transaction data in an object called InfoQ. What is this InfoQ? InfoQ is based on our MDM modeling, multidimensional modeling, star schema, extended star schema. So this is the object. So in our training class, demo classes, when we were referring to what is called a diagram. We were referring to a diagram over here. So this diagram is nothing but called InfoQ in SAP BW terminology. In normal terminology, it is called as a star schema. Okay, and we have studied these things now. LO1, master data attributes, master data text. So for each and every object, you see the SID tables have been generated. So are we creating the SID tables? No, the system is automatically creating the SID tables. Now, for example, go to this master data, display data. So you can see country, related SID, postcode, related SID, region, related SID. So here I am not going to create these SIDs. So according to the, whenever I am loading the data into the BW system, these SIDs are automatically getting, okay, I didn't select the SID values. So right click, display data, field selection for output, select all, execute, execute. So these SID values are automatically created by the system and used by the system. Unique values. In that way, the reading performance can be improved. So this is what your SID tables are, automatically getting created in the backend with respect to each and every kind of data. It can be attributes, it can be text, it can be hierarchies. Okay. Now go back to your text table. Each and every material text. So maintain master data, execute. So here also, if you there is no kind of it is not showing us the SID values, but internally for these values also the what is called the SID values would be already available. So like this, the master data is available. Now I am preparing this particular diagram, and that is referred to as the info cube. Okay. So here, if somebody asks me definition of my info cube or a star schema, what is my definition? A star schema consists of a fact table surrounded by the multiple dimension table, which means the combination of a fact table plus multiple dimension tables is referred to as a star schema, right? So the same definition is applicable to info cube also. We would be using info cube to load the transactional data. Okay. Now let us go and analyze one of the file which was given by my manager. Okay, this was the file given by my manager where he was storing the data in this particular format. The transaction date, the customer number, who has purchased the product, what product has he purchased, what is the quantity, what is the revenue that has been generated. Okay, now see over here the different customers list. So this customers list should already be from my list only. So if I go and check in my data, so display data, so field selection for output, all characters, execute, execute. How many customers and numbers are there? Close to 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 15, 25, 26, 27. So here whoever is purchasing, it definitely fall into this particular list. Okay. Now here E1 to 15 are there, 7, 8, 9, 15 are there. Okay. Perfectly matching, no problem. And the material numbers also should match from this particular object only. Okay. The material numbers should also match from this particular numbers only. Because basing on these existing things only I am going to do the business, right? So they should definitely match. And these are the different dates. Okay. And here, why I am putting the date in this particular format is, what the SAP defined format for a to store date value is YYYY MMDD. This is the SAP format, how the data it is expecting. But when you load the data, when it displays the data, it is going to display in this particular format. Okay, so dd.mm.yyyyyy, but the input should be in this particular format. That is the reason I have prepared my document something like this. So this is how my manager was maintaining his day-to-day transaction data. So he is running a store or a department, and in that particular department different products are displayed for sale. So different customers will be visiting the department and purchasing some or other product and doing a billing. So when they are going to the billing section, they first on what date has you purchased the product. Okay, what is the customer number? So you would be asking us, can you please share your membership number? Yes, this is the membership number or the customer number. Then what is the material are you purchasing? Okay, this is the material code. What is the quantity are you purchasing? 32. What is the revenue what is the revenue? The 100. So like this you would be maintaining as a day-to-day transaction data. Now I want to load this transaction into BW, so I'll be taking the example of an info cube and load into my BW system. So before creating info cube, so this is the file submitted to my manager. First of all, I need to analyze what type of data, what info objects I need to create, all this stuff, right? The same thing. Okay, I want to hear from you guys the one by one again. So what is this transaction date? Is it a characteristic or key figure or what?
It's a characteristic.
It's a characteristic. Okay, what about the customer number?
Characteristic.
Yeah, what about this?
Characteristic.
What about this?
Key figure. Key figure.
Key figure. Very good. Okay, so here I need to create 5 info objects now. Out of these 5 info objects, 3 are characteristics, 2 are key figures. Very good. And I already know with respect to customer number, I already have the what is called the info object, so I can reuse that one, no problem. Material, already the info object is available, so you can happily reuse. So what are we left with? The 3 info objects over here. Okay, so let us quickly prepare my document. What's the first one? The technical name. Okay, so the customer number. Okay, technical name followed by description, followed by data type, followed by length.
Yeah.
Okay, now what was the naming convention I was using? Some ZB, right? CB, ZB, T date, transaction date. Okay, now the description is the transaction date. Data type is here in the characteristic object. I have a data type called as dates, right? So I can use that one, DATS. Okay, and length with respect to dates, you don't need to give the length. The system will automatically pick up because that's the standard format used, right? So the length is automatically picked up by the system, and that is 8. Why 8? Because of this reason. 4 plus 2 plus 2, 8. Okay, so automatically picked up by the system. Okay, then done. What about this quantity? So ZB QTY quantity. Okay, so for these things, no need to give the data type and the length. I'll get back to you. Now, ZB revenue. Okay, so here revenue. So I'm done with the definitions of my info objects. So what the next step I need to do? I need to log into my BW system. Okay, go to my respective info area. First I need to create the info objects, right? So you should be in the info object section. You should be in the info object section. And what is the first thing you want to do? You want to first create a characteristic info object, right? So go to this characteristics, right click, create info object. Now copy, transaction date, okay, dates 8, right? So here you can see the data type as date, and you can see date field in this, it is expecting data in this particular format and stored as char 8. So just click on this one, and the length is automatically picked up by the system for the dates. Okay, now nothing to change over here. Just give the data type and the length, and just activate your object. Object got activated. So what is the next one? Quantity, right? But this is a key figure. So you should go to the info object catalog called key figures. So right click on your info object catalog, create info object. Okay. Now give your technical name, give the description. Okay. Now you can see this is how the screen will look like with respect to an key figure. So you can see your key figure can be of these different data types. It can be an amount, it can be a quantity, it can be a number, it can be an integer, a date and the time. So usually these two we are going to make it out. Very frequently we are going to make use. What is your object over here? It is going with some quantity, right? So here you can, the quantity data type is already given by the system, so you can happily go and check this option. That's it. Okay, you no need to give any kind of length or the things. So the quantity can be anything, right? It can be 32, it can be 3, it can be 20, it can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, any length. So no bother about the length over here, but the data type is quantity, like this. If any kind of amount related, revenue, profit, sales, all these things you want to load, then you can go with the option called the amount. So it's up to you. Okay? And yeah.
We have a date field, right? Here.
Yeah, sometimes we would be using this date as a key figure also. It's up to you, some requirements, but very rarely used options. I am not sure, in none of my projects we have used this kind of date or time fields in our key figure definitions especially. Okay, just go through help.sap.com key figure section, and maybe I'll also try to get more insight about these two objects. What's the need of inclusion of these things in the key figure section?
So usually we'll go with the characters.
I'm not getting you.
So generally we'll go with characteristic for date and time.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. And in BWBI, every key figure, especially whatever it may be, okay, every key figure have the should. So, for example, see, I'm done with defining the data type, right? Now, just go and try to activate your object. No, it is not getting activated. See the same to this, and see the warning error message showing me. Enter either unit info object or fixed currency unit, which means in BW every key figure should be followed by a unit value. So here the quantity is there, but what is this quantity referring to? What is this 32 over here? What actually? Is it each or case or package or bucket or liters or kgs or what actually? So this is the mandatory thing in the BW with respect to each and every key figure. Now, which means I need to insert a separate column over here, which defines a thing called as UOM, okay, unit of measurement. And in my earlier class, I already told you the table name where these data can be used from. So, what is the table name? Can anybody help me? Units, UOM table. In yesterday's class also, I have used the table. Table name where the UOM values are available in SAP BW system.
Currency is TCURC.
I'm talking about UOM, unit of measurements, not currencies.
T006 something.
T006A.
Okay.
Okay. So this was the table name which I was referring to. T006A. Okay, this is the place where the UOM values are stored. Now here, if your file consists of different types of UOM, for example, this 32 is referring each, this 32 is referring liters, this is referring to case, something different UOMs, then what you need to do is you need to give the variable currency, variable unit over here, and that is called as a 0 unit. Okay, 0 unit, which means it is the capability of holding these different types of variables, different UOMs. In that case, you need to use a unit currency, unit of measurement 0, which means object given by the SAP. Okay, or otherwise, this is one case. If multiple different types of UMs are available, then you can go with the 0 unit. If exactly same type, so when whatever they is purchasing, so every time, so usually machineries would be definitely not in cases or nothing like that. Every time it should be each part, right? So if I'm going with each, all of my data is coming each all the time. So why I'm using the each EA code over here? Because that is how the data is getting stored in the T0068 table. The code for the each is EA. Now, if I'm using all the time the same UOM all the time, then what I can do is I can go with the option called fixed unit of measure. Okay, each. Enter. Fixed unit of measure. So, if that is the case, you no need to maintain anything in your file. If you are having multiple UOMs, then you need to definitely maintain them in the file. If you are having single UOM all the time, then you don't need to maintain. You can define your key figure with the option called fixed unit of measurement and give the each value over here. Okay. Now it's up to you, and I can take the help of F4 help also. Okay. So where this F4 help is getting data from? From the table called T0068. Why? Because if you see your values over here, you can see how many entries? 333 entries found. I'm just opening another session. Go to SC11, T006A. Okay, display. Now go to contents. Number of entries 333. The same count here also. Which means it is going to pull the data from this F4 help is going to pull data from this T0068. So this was I was referring to as this F4 help. F4 help would be referring to showing you all the possible values in the respective table. Okay, like this you can give the value each, or assume in our case all the time I am measuring my data with respect to each all the time. So if you give also no problem. Okay. If you give your UOM values with respect to each, also no problem. But if you are maintaining single UOM all the time, then if you maintain something like this, it's up to you, optional. Okay. So this is about the revenue, quantity key figure. Now go and activate your key figure. Now it is activating. See, it is ready. Now it is in green color. So it's of quantity and the fixed unit of measure called as each. The same fashion, let us go and create the another key figure. So right click, create info object. Okay. So revenue. Okay. And the revenue, as you are aware, it should be amount definitely. And you can see the fixed currency or variable currency. If so, what is this 100 referring to over here? What is this 150 referring to? Assume. So here each and every this kind of entries should be followed by a currency key. Here UOM, here currency key. Now here, what was the table name? TCURC, where the currency keys it is going to store. So TCURC. Now it's USD, GBP, INR, okay, something like this. Now same concept here also. If we are maintaining multiple currencies in our file or data incoming data, then here we need to give a option called zero currency. Multiple currencies, zero currency. If you feel that all of your transactions are happening in USD all the time, then you can go with the fixed currency also, USD. So you can take the F4 help also. Where is this F4 help getting data from? From the table called TCURC. You want a proof? So go to this F4 help. How many entries are there? 219 entries. So go to that particular TCURC table. So I want to directly see the table contents. Instead, so if I'm going to S11, what it is asking me? First it is asking me the table name, then show the structure, then show the contents, right? But I want directly see the contents of a table. Then I can happily use a transition code called SC16. Okay, enter. Just give the table name over here, and you can see directly you can see the contents. No structure. Okay. So what the table name you want to refer to? TCURC. Now contents. Directly you are welcome to this particular screen. Now go to number of entries, 219. How many entries it is showing over here in your help? 219, which means it is going to get the data from this particular table and show you. Okay, according to your requirement, you can choose the options over here and give your value. In our case, assume it's a USD, then give the USD value. But we can't give both. It should be either a fixed or a variable, but we can't give both. Now you can see, just go and try to activate. No, it is not getting activated. It is telling you that enter either. Okay, assume in our case it's a USD. No problem. It's your wish. You can take. You can go with either of the options. Now just activate your object. It's getting activated. Like this, you are done with the defining of your objects. Okay, fine. Now, I'm just saving this file. Go to desktop, transactions with respect to US date. So 17th September 2014. So desktop, save, yes. So in order to get a clear picture of your file, always it's a best habit to best approach to open it in Notepad and check whether there are any kind of extra characters out there, because in the directly if you're opening the file, you can't say anything. Oh, it's look like very easy, very comfortable, but some errors might crept in, which you can see in Notepad. So in Notepad also, I was not seeing any kind of miscellaneous characters, right? So which means my file is ready. My info objects are